Hi everyone, welcome to another update from the Server Runtime seg for the 18th of January 2023. This week I continue the series, What Can You Do with Server Runtime? So this is part 3 of the series in which I talk about workspaces for designers. So recently I came across this excellent app called Penpot, which is an open source app for designers. Basically it is like Figma but open source. It's got great design components, it's got a great UI look and feel and everything so real time. So I was wondering whether I could incorporate that into our workspaces architecture. So Penpot itself has got a pretty complex architecture consisting of microservices. It's written in Clojure and it's got a front end, a back end. It's got an exporter service to export to various formats. It's got a database, it's just Postgres, and it's got broker, which is Redis. So it's quite a complex app, and there are 4 or 5 components here. So I was wondering whether I could actually go and incorporate this into a Devfile, and it was a bit more complicated than I thought it would be. So I go into GDK and go into this project. I'll show you the Devfile here. So there's a Devfile which I created for Penpot, which consists of a front end, consists of a OIDC provider, so that because we're already authenticating in the workspace, needed something that could stub out the existing OIDC provider needed by Penpot. Got Redis and Postgres in the back end, a number of environment variables, an exporter app. I also needed to create a bunch of custom attributes to extend the Devfile standard in order to support this. For example, Devfile doesn't support volume subpath, so I added an attribute for that so that I can inject a volume subpath. Because of the multiple components in Penpot, each component needs to reside in its own directory, and so I had to do that. I also needed to inject public URIs in places, and so that's what I've done by creating this inject URL attribute as well. So that's the customization that I had to do the Devfile standard to actually make this work. But once that's done, I can go ahead and create a workspace for Penpot. So I can go ahead and say open workspace, select a ref. I will not select an IDE because Penpot in a way acts as an IDE for us. So I can go ahead and say create workspace and just wait for a few seconds for the workspace to start up. So my workspace is actually running now. I can go ahead and open up the workspace. I will authenticate. Now, Penpot by default needs some authentication. I've created a sample OpenID provider which just acts as a stub so that I can log in. As soon as I do that, it automatically authenticates me into Penpot and asks for a account creation. Go ahead and do that, and now I have access to Penpot. So I can go ahead and if I wanted to create a team and things like that, I could do that immediately. But what I'm going to do is actually go and just import an existing kit. So I'm going to just go ahead and import this wireframing kit which comes with Penpot, and I can open that up as a draft. Again, you'll see this has this wonderful design experience where you got different layers and you can explore. So I've got components here to explore, for example. I can have a look at those, edit them as I would in Penpot. It's real time, so I could collaborate with multiple people. So if we allow sharing of workspaces with other people, we could enable such experiences. You can also see a wireframe which has multiple screens, and this is a flow, so I can actually run the flow and click on components and show their interaction. So again, Penpot is a great open source project that enables all this. So we are able to successfully wrap Penpot in a workspace. Now I can go ahead and actually download a Penpot file if I wanted to, so that I could use this. I could take this wireframe and share it with people. I could also go ahead and export it as an SVG. That's it for this one. Thank you for listening.